Hey guys, what's going on? So, I got a YouTube comment recently. I think it was the last comment that I just got. And it was somebody who wanted to know what to spend essence and cores on. And the too long didn't watch. I don't mean for this to be a really long video, again, this can be a podcast. You can just listen to me. You don't need to necessarily know what's happening on screen. But I don't expect this to be a very long video, but the too long didn't watch version of this is for cores. Spend it on whatever you want because you will get so many more cores and it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. Every single time you win a tournament, you have the chance to spend your tokens on something, spend it on cores all the time, and then just pick the cores that you want, and you can spend it on whatever you want. Honestly, spend it on whatever you want because you'll always get more. And you will never use them as often as you get them. And if you save, it'll be fine. With Essence, it's a little bit more specific, but I wouldn't start using Essence on anything above, until you get to what you want. When you get your set items, that's when you should be using it. Like when you know that this is the epic set that you want, the set bonus, then start using Essence on an epic item. Don't use Essence before that. But for everybody else that you're okay with long videos and you love me talking, let's get into this. So the current state of the game has a lot of commons, epics, and rares that have talents, a number of them, and for the most part, I wouldn't recommend any of them. I think the only one that I would even kind of recommend, I want to say Grindstone. I think Grindstone, the Boreas Grindstone deck, will take you pretty far, seeing as how Boreas is one of the early legendaries that you will get. I think the Boreas Grindstone deck will take you pretty far, and putting cores into Grindstone would help you, but at the same time, there's a part of me that wants to say that eventually, if you get a better legendary, you're never going to use Grindstone again. So I've maxed out every single common, epic, and rare because I can. Cold Mage, Hunter. Oh, Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter is that's what I meant to say. Not Grindstone. I just couldn't. I was like, I know that there's one. Sharpshooter is pretty much the only one that I would recommend maxing out. In terms of common, epics, and rares, and in terms of what's happening currently in the game right now, without patch 21.0 coming. This is pre-patch 21.0, obviously. Crystalmancer, I know, is about to get talents. Night Statue's about to get talents. At some point, those are the next two things on the horizon. But Sharpshooter is pretty much the only one that I would ever really recommend spending cores on. Literally everything else, I wouldn't recommend it. I have them because I can, and because I can. That's really it. I didn't do it. I didn't max out a Priestess because I was using Priestess all the time. I just had the cores. Because I was very smart with my tournament purchases. And I'll go into that in a second. But yeah, I think Zealot was one of the first things I ever maxed out because I love Zealot. And I don't even think Zealot is good. Zealot is, even with everything that I have and the crit percentage that I have, Zealot drops off very quickly. I think Engineer is fine. But again, once you get other legendaries, which you will, around the same time that you're able to max talent out an engineer, you will get better legendaries. You will get a demon hunter, you'll get a cultist, you'll get a blade dancer, you'll get a monk. You'll get all these other things, and you'll want to invest into them. And if you don't have the cores because you've invested it into these things that I know that you're never going to use, then you won't technically, quote unquote, have the cores for the things that you do need. But honestly, if you have, like leveled things up, and like let's say you're using Cold Mage right now, you're using Cold Mage in every deck, and you're a beginner player, I think that if you decide to spend, some of your cores on talents for Cold Mage, I think it's a fine investment. And why? Because eventually, like I said, you will eventually just get everything. You'll get more cores by the time you get a Demon Hunter to 9. By the time you get an Enchant Sword to 9. By the time you get a Bruiser to 9. Like you will obtain more cores by that time that you feel like upgrading this. Because usually the time that you know that you're going to upgrade something, there will be a wind up time. Because you'll have the 3 Enchant Sword, or the 2 Enchant Sword duplicates, or the 1 Enchant Sword duplicate, but maybe you don't have the crystals for it. And so now okay, I'm about to change it to a 9. Let me start saving Magic Council cores, right? And then in that build-up time, you will obtain cores for it, right? So I don't even really feel like telling you to not, if you're using Cold Mage all the time, to not use it on Cold Mage, because then when you know that you're going to be able to upgrade something, then just start saving cores for that, and you'll be fine. Most famously, I wanted, as soon as Blade Dancer talents, as soon as those got announced, for an entire month, I saved Forest Faction cores, and I bought Forest Faction cores every time tournament ran. And I just did that for a month because I knew that I wanted to just max out a Blade Dancer from the 9, 11, the 13, and the 15, just all at the same time. And that's what I ended up doing. Because I knew that I already had a max Blade Dancer, and I knew the amount that I would need. And so for a month, I just focused on that, and I still got it, and it was fine. So the best way to get cores is through tournament. The tournament store... The only thing that you should ever be using so at a certain point in the game. So if you're a new player, I would always recommend the Rare Clan Chest. If you don't know, somebody did the math. You can do the math right now. But a lot of people ask, should I buy the 1700 Legendary Chest? And people have done the math that if you were to buy the Rare Clan Chest, because it's in 50 coin increments, if you were to spend 1700 on the Rare Clan Chest, not only would you in Magic Dust get a legendary, because it's 1,000 Magic Dust per legendary, not only would you have enough Magic Dust to get a legendary, but you'd also get that many increments of commons, epics, and rares. If you just bought the 1700 legendary, you would just get the legendary. But spending 1700 on the clan chest, not only would you get the legendary, you'd get everything else as well. If you are a new player, and if you need cards, as in if your cards are not, your commons, epics, and rares are not maxed, and you need most of them, I would always buy this. Just spend every single clan coin, or tournament coin, into this. If your question is, how do I get cores? The chest of cores. You get, it's 100 every time tournament rolls around. And you can only buy it once, so always buy it. And you'll get 50 cores, and it's your choice. Just look, they actually have it in there now. But just look at your cores. Look what you need the most, or what you're planning on using, and then just pour coins into that. As I said, I've already maxed out every common, epic, and rare. All I have are legendaries, and this is how many cores I have. At a certain point, even if you were to upgrade everything, you'll just keep getting more cores. It's totally fine. You don't have to worry about spending them wisely, because saving them wisely is more important. Knowing that you're going to upgrade your bruiser, and you want to, create the you want to get the cores. You need the cores to upgrade the talent. Make sure that you know how many cores you need, and then just save that amount of cores. Like, it bothers me so much when I see people with like a level 11 Blade Dancer, and they don't even have like the talent. they just have, you know, like the first talent unlocked. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You have a level 11 Blade Dancer or a level 11 Demon Hunter. Why don't you have that talent unlocked? That should be your focus. But yeah, that's my thoughts on cores. I have a free-to-play account. I've basically never upgraded any of my things with cores. Like I've never upgraded. I think I upgraded Sharpshooter, and that's pretty much it. And it's not because I'm saving cores. I just know that I never use any of these commons, epics, or rares. And unless a patch comes out that changes any of these to become meta, I don't necessarily feel the need to spend the cores on them. I'd rather save them for legendaries. But like with that even being said, it's not a lot and it's not hard to save. But that's my thoughts on Essence. Or that's my thoughts on cores. My thoughts on Essence, it's a little bit different. So the thing about Essence is that there's not a lot of ways to get it. Most of it is Dragon Rift, and it does come around pretty often. I can't go into it anymore, but basically, if you play Dragon Rift, you get a reasonable amount of Essence. And if you ever need more, which you should never need more, you can. I think they took it out. There used to be an Essence chest in the store. I think they took it out. And I think they made Dragon Rift the only way you can get Essence. I don't even know if it's in the premium pass anymore. Oh, I guess it's right here. That's not free to play. I don't even know if they have a free to play version. If they don't, and it's literally just Dragon Rift, then this information is going to be even more vital. Because even though Dragon Rift comes around, there's 100. That seems pretty terrible. If that's the only one for free to play, like, that seems pretty bad. There's 200. That's another 100 to make it 200. You get 200 a month. Is that what you get? You get 200 a month. So this information is going to be pretty vital for you because you need a lot of Essence to do a lot of different things. So even just to upgrade all of your Essence you're using on equipments, even just to awaken an equipment, I want to say costs 400. Is that what it is? Okay, so unlocking an enchantment costs 200 Essence. You only get 200 a month just through monthly pass. So that would just allow you to awaken your equipment. And that will, it'll choose a random faction for it to unlock at. So if you don't understand how enchantments work, so this Forest Faction, Kingdom of Light, Technogenic, Master's Bow, it has all three factions, but the one that I have unlocked is in this little circle, and then you can see the other locked ones. It's a Forest Faction bow. And that's the set bonus. It's the one that I want. And when I awakened it, it had two different factions. And I happened to luck out. And when I awakened it, it gave me the Forest Faction, which is the one that I want. This bonus will only apply to whatever thing is currently unlocked. If you need to awaken the other factions because, maybe you got Kingdom of Light and you really wanted Forest Faction, you would have to awaken it. If I decided to awaken a legendary bow, this legendary bow, to get the other ones, the awakening, just to unlock a random next faction, would cost 800 Essence. If I didn't still get a Forest Faction, which is the one that I want, and I had to awaken it a third time, which I have done, that upgrade costs 1,200. So it's 200 to unlock, 800 to get another one, 1,200 to get the last one. It's a lot of Essence. You need a lot of Essence if you get very unlucky. Now, the alternative thing that you could theoretically do, which I would not recommend, but it is something that you could technically do. My Mage Robe at Rare, I already have Forest Faction. I decided to awaken this because if I were to upgrade this to Epic, I would already have it awakened on, I would already have the Forest faction awakened. Oh god, here we go. I would already have the Forest faction on this awakened. Because as you can see, there's only the one faction. You can spend the 200, it's already awakened. So when it transfers to Epic, that will already be awakened. My problem is that when you upgrade something from rare to Epic, the set bonus has the ability to change. So this was originally a Forest faction spear, in the same way that this is a Forest faction mage robes. When I upgraded it to Epic though, it changed the set bonus so that the set because it added another faction, added Technogenic and made Technogenic the set bonus. And that is the risk that you run, and that's why it's so hard to upgrade legendary or upgrade equipment, because you have to luck out between rare and epic. So you can awaken something that only has the one at rare, right? But when you upgrade it, it will be still awakened. And so if you only care about, having a Forest faction robe, it will still be a Forest faction robe in the same way that this is still a Forest faction spear, but you will not have the set bonus anymore. And the set bonus doesn't seem like that big of an incremental difference. It's a 10% difference. So because I have full set, I have a Forest faction bow, a Forest faction hunter jacket, and a Forest faction amulet of growth, I'm getting a plus 10% on top of all of the other bonuses. Even though the 10% bonus does not feel that great, if I were to switch in a spear, right? Because this is I'm still getting the Forest faction off of this, and it's still a bonus, right? I lose the 10% bonus on the amulet of growth and the hunter's jacket. That I no longer get those two 10%, and that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But once you start going into the late game, that does start to become a bigger deal, because you will be playing up against people who do have the set bonus, who have taken the time to max out their things correctly. And if you don't max out your things correctly and you spend an excessive amount of essence and equipment, because it takes a lot of fragments to upgrade anything. Once you start going into the crazy amounts of legendaries, it's going to take me 3,200 fragments, armor fragments, to upgrade my hunter's jacket from 16 to 17. It'll take 2,000 weapon fragments to go from 10 to 11, and these go to 20. So it goes to 15, it goes 20, 15, 10, 5, going from legendary down to common. That's what the level increments are. And so when you get a legendary thing, it goes to 20. When you have an epic thing, you have to upgrade it to 15 in order to upgrade it to legendary. When you go from a rare to an epic, you need a level 10 thing. And that is so many fragments that you're using. I would only ever recommend using essence on something that you know that you're going to keep. If you don't think that you're going to keep it, then I wouldn't use it. And unless you know how to use this correctly, unless you know that you want a Forest faction amulet of weakness, then I would start awakening. And I would start awakening prior to you upgrading it to legendary, because like I said, if you upgrade it, or if you awaken epic, you only have the possibility of 2 factions. If you were to wait to get to legendary, to awaken an item, I don't even think, like this one. With this one, I've already waited until I had a legendary item, and now I still have to awaken this thing. If I awaken this and it gives me Technogenic faction for 200, I will then have to spend another 800 to randomly awaken another thing. And then what if it gives me Dark Domain? Then I have to spend another 1200 just to upgrade it to Forest faction, which is the thing that I would want. If I were to upgrade this back when I had it at Epic, and spend the 200, there's a high possibility, a 50-50, I guess it's not a high possibility, it's a 50-50 chance of me getting the faction bonus that I want to begin with. And then if I wanted to awaken, I can later. like just later down the line whenever I had free essence, right? But like I said, I don't use essence a lot, and I only have 250. It is very difficult to get essence in this game, because the only way to really get it is through Dragon Rift, and that means that you have to play Dragon Rift a lot, and you should be because you're in a clan, and it's not that difficult. The way that it is set up, it's not that difficult to get a lot of points, but I mean, you have to save, and there's just so much essence that you need, but you shouldn't use it on anything that's less than an epic. There's no real reason to upgrade something from a rare, because like I said, even though I've awakened this at 200, when I switch to an epic, it can completely be a set bonus technogenic, and even though my thing is awakened, I'm probably not going to want to keep it if it's a techno set bonus. Because I will, like I said before, I'll be losing the other 10% on the other two things. But yeah, that's my thoughts on upgrade or using essence and using cores. I hope that made sense. If you do have any questions in the comments, down below, just let me know, and I will try to answer them quickly so I don't have to make a different video explaining it. But yeah, those are my thoughts.